Hello, this is Serrano Keith Baldier from the Texas Justice Review, and I'm going to give you an update on the case, the hearing that I had today before Judge Staci Williams of the 101 Court, District Court. The case is Baldier versus Warner. It is me suing my ex's attorney for fraud and civil damages and concealment of funds and other due process and things that the law says an attorney is not supposed to do, including dishonesty and just basically using your power to rip people off. That's just the nut and bolt of it. So I'm gonna darken this video because I want to show you something. Let me see if I can show it to you first. Oh, guess I don't have to. So one of the arguments that we had in court today was that my ex's attorney that I sued, she's been in the case for about a year and a half, and now she's saying that since she's been sued here, she's not been on the case. But if you check the record in family court, she's still on the case. Here's what. She told Judge Staci Williams, I'm no longer in the case, you know, I'm just minding my business, and I don't even get any money from this, you know. I don't know if you can lie to a judge and get away with it, but as a publisher, I don't let you get away with it. And I do have ambitions of being a precinct judge, so I am going to make sure I pretend I'm one of those right now. Here's what happened. When she cried, she's crying in this court. When we were in family court, this woman was nasty, insulting, abusive to me, demeaning, because she had Judge Michael Snipes on her side. He wasn't in the middle. He was there, a personal attorney, to give them everything. There was no division of property. There was just give her everything. So I kind of was, I was defrauded of everything that I owned. And now this lawyer is telling the judge, I get no money off of this case. It doesn't mean I get nothing if he sells the house. Okay? I love evidence. The reason I love evidence, it makes your point for you. You don't have to make it yourself. She said to Judge Staci Williams, hey, judge, so what happens when a lawyer lies to a judge? We're going to ask that question in a second. So she said she doesn't make any money, right? It says here, and I'm going to show you, read it first. This is, the court finds that good cause exists, which it didn't because they're liars. That my ex, the amount of $50,000 for reasonable attorney's fee, when I told him from the beginning I did not want to go to court, right? And this attorney was jacking up the fees. I mean, she was just doing anything. It's further ordered that the judgment of the attorney's fee shall be deducted from Serrano Keith Baldier proceeds from the sale of the marital property. She told Judge Staci Williams none of that was happening. She's not getting any money from this case. She's just an innocent attorney who doesn't harass and demean and defraud people. There's the evidence. If anybody wants to go send it to Judge Staci Williams. A lawyer lied to you in your courtroom to defraud me further. Now, the other attorney, they said the same thing. We're not making any money out of this, right? Okay, let's find out. So it says here, another $20,000 of reasonable attorney's fee. And guess where it's coming out from? The sale of the property. Both of these lawyers were in court telling Judge Staci Williams, a district court judge, that they get no money from the house. Yet they're here fighting for the house, for me to turn the house over so they can sell it for no good reason. These two lawyers here, Whitney Green, Anna Long, and the other one, Victoria Warner, they're all creditors. I listed them as creditors in my bankruptcy. They were afraid that the bankruptcy judge is going to write them off quickly. So that's what they're trying to rush here and get this house. That's point number one. Lies to a judge. Okay? I'm not even talking about the lies during the case. I'm not even talking about the manipulation and the concealment of funds, which is a criminal act That's why they get sued in family court. Point number 2. They said, what's point number 2? I just had it. Gosh, slipped me. Judge Staci Williams wanted to know why I want this house and not give it up. I was going to ask her, how about you give up your house? If you have a conflict with somebody in your family and they want to put you out in the street, right? And they have the right by a trustee to do so, would you fight or would you go live on the street? So here's the deal. I made a deal with my ex in New Jersey. I gave up my business. I gave up my life. I supported her career completely. I came to Dallas because of her. And my major concern was that your grandmother took the house and kicked off your grandfather. And I don't want that to happen to me. And I make a 6-figure salary, $150,000. That would never happen. And we walked in here with $800,000, $400,000 with 401k, $500,000 in bonuses, right? And judge wants to know, why do I want the house? I was robbed. I was cheated. I was defrauded. And it all came from this lawyer. This lawyer did it because from the beginning, my ex told me when I was running for office, wanted to borrow money from the house. Oh, you're going to get a crap load of money soon. So much money, you wouldn't even know what to do with it. But as soon as she hired Victoria Warner, she changed my ex's mind. Nope, we're going to conceal this. We're going to hide it. He's not going to get anything. This is the fraud she's sued for. She even filed a motion in court to ban an audit of the $1.2 million. Ban it. Why would you ban an audit? Because you know you're hiding funds, and that is what they're sued for. Now, in family court, you do agreements. Family court is you both sit down at the table, you try to decide who gets what, who gets the cat. But that didn't happen. There was no negotiations. The judge moved in, a criminal court judge, trying to make some money for himself because he get paid as you go. And he decided, you get nothing. Because you pissed me off, I'm giving her everything. That's fraud. I was defrauded. There was no sitting down at the table. And Victoria Warner, who I sued here, knew it. She knew the judge was angry because he didn't like me because maybe of my race, I challenged him on something. She took full advantage of that to defraud me. She knew that anything she put me in front of him, he's going to sign it. That's why I'm not giving up my house. All it is, if they were honest, if Victoria Warner was honest, the defendant here, she would have told my spouse, look, you have $800,000. Just give him half of that. Don't worry about the 401k. He probably doesn't even want it, which I wouldn't have at the time. So he would pay you the $90,000. He keeps the house and put it in his name. He could even pay for it fully. But they defrauded me. They lied and deceived. No honesty here. And lawyers are not supposed to be dishonest. So she was sued under the Disciplinary Act, the State Act, Rules of Procedure, and Criminal Code. That's what she was sued on. She wasn't sued on anything in family court. That's why this case is not in family court. Victoria Warner is not my family. Why would I sue her in family court? My ex is not on this case. If she was on this case, you can say, hey, this case belongs to his ex. No, this Victoria Warner is not my relative. Why does Judge Staci has a family court judge making arguments for Victoria Warner's case when she's not my family member? That's why she's sued in civil court. That's why when the judge Williams asked me about this, I'm thinking better now. Wait a second. Victoria Warner is not my family. I can't sue her for this house in family court. That's kind of like an abomination of the rules, right? And I read some things for her. And I told her that. I'm going to give you my third point. That's my second point. She's not my family member. Why would you tell me to go sue her in family court? Why would you want to take this case and put it in family court when she's not my family member, right? I read, family court does not have jurisdiction over district court fraud cases, especially if the person here is not my family. So I don't know why Judge Staci Williams doesn't understand this. Family court has no jurisdiction over tort claims such as fraud, civil conspiracy, breach of fiduciary duty, and abuse of power process, and abuse of a license. Victoria Warner is not my family. She's the only one sued here. Why is Judge Staci Williams looking to send this case or the house to family court and have the argument, well, you know, it's adjudicated in family court? Yes. And they lost. They lost it in family court, right? And it's on appeal in family court. They'll lose that too, because finally I'm getting traction and goodwill from the appeals court, having overturned Judge Purdy's case with the councilwoman. So people are listening to me, and I had to overturn a federal judge and giving me back on my case on appeal. So why is we have a family court judge making arguments for Victoria Warner and the home when the home is actually sued for fraud, not division of property, before Judge Williams? Victoria Warner is not my family. She's sued here in a different capacity. And I don't think Judge Williams was understanding that. I should have made that a little more clear. Their attempt to drag property into family court is like forum shopping. That's what I read. If Carrington and Coleman, which is the family court she had in the court today, are trying to shift the property division issue into family court, it's likely because they anticipate a favorable ruling from Judge Snipes. He's family. Victoria Warner is not my family. You know, you even asked Judge Judy if there was a case that came before Judge Judy when Judge Judy was in family court. I knew that. She would tell you, I can't take this case. Are you this family member? No. Dismissed. I gotta dismiss the application for family. I know that because I was living with somebody in New Jersey, and they tried to say the person is my family, and there was a problem with them. It went before Judge Judy in New York. She was a judge there. Then she asked the question, and the person says, I said, just tell them you're not family. And she told Judge Judy, I'm not their family. And she says, this is not your family because you write here that this is your cousin, this is your family. Well, no, are they your family? And they said, no. Dismiss. The argument that that's your family and you want them out of the house or you want them to do this is dismissed. So the argument that Judge Williams is listening to family court and Victoria Warner is not my family is troubling. All right, because they were judge shopping, okay? This is procedurally improper, and especially if there is a pending lis pendens, which means I have a hole in the property that Judge Staci couldn't understand. If you have a problem with a family member and they're trying to steal the house and sell it from under you, and you have a claim on the property, you can go down to the county and file a lis pendens saying they can't sell this property because I have a claim on it. She didn't understand what that meant. And there's a pending default judgment, which I have. There's a pending fraud claim, which I have. You cannot, and this is procedurally improper to make an application like that. I was butting heads with Judge Williams, but sometimes I do, and sometimes she makes the right decision. Okay, the other point that she was making, that was 1.1, point 2, point 3, was the lis pendens. And she also asked me to, oh, by the way, they made some arguments that I'm going to rebuttal. And the arguments are, Victoria Warner was saying, oh, I don't have anything to do with the case. I don't have any lien on it. And I showed you, she's a liar. The other one said they had no lien either. She's a liar, with Anna Long. And that the parties have no business in her case. Why am I adding them? If you open a Judge Staci's William claim here, you will see Anna Long, Whitney Green, and them listed in this case with me and the first attorney, right? And then she said, I have nothing to do with it. If you robbed the bank first and you're walking away $50,000, you had everything to do with it. If you're the one that caused the fraud, you have everything to do with it. And if your buddies are now here helping you and they put your name on this case, they're in it too. That's why I CC them. Right? And then she asked the judge to deny the TRO. It's not a TRO, it's an injunction. When I was in family court, they did an injunction against me that I don't get my cat back, I don't get my property that they stole in the middle of the night back. No contempt on them, right? They get away with stuff. They got away with a contempt charge. No arrest. But I'm getting arrested. And then I get nothing until the case is concluded. That's what I filed today. It's an injunction to hold it that everything is concluded in. And let's see what else she say. This is the last ditch effort. No, I sued this lawyer since last year. No, last ditch. And here is I'm going to get to that last point in a second. Here's point number 4. The house, the case that I have against my ex's attorney here, the first one, she had 60 days to file any motion she wants, including this one today. And they shouldn't even have a motion. All I did was extended my injunction till the case is resolved. To file a motion to take the house back from a civil litigation case where this person is not my family. And they're still trying it. We want this case taken away from Victoria Warner, part of it, because and put it in family court. She's not my family member. You can't do that. So, but we still want to take it and put it in family court because we already had adjudication there, and that's closed. That's closed, and it's in the appeals court. So if you want to go ahead and deal with that with him, he violated something there, you got to go to the appeals court and fight it there. Me or them. I went, they didn't, but they're here meddling in a civil case with a non-family member, saying we want to send to family court. How? She's not a family member. This is this case. The house is here on fraud. So they're trying to manipulate. They're trying to flip the script. Judge Williams would have to deem that Victoria Williams is a family member. And by saying that, she can possibly send it to family court, but there's a big problem. You can't just judge ship or case ship to anyone you feel like you want to send it to. That's illegal. The system is designed that if you don't want a case, you have to recuse yourself in its entirety, not just piecemeal it. So she can't just like Judge Hoffman and Judge Aceveros, they ship their fraud case to family court. And that's a dangerous thing to do. And trust me, they're going to answer for that. They are going to. They just don't know it yet. I'm doing a RICO claim, and they're on it. So family, this is the family code. 3.401 defines a partition or reimbursement does not apply when fraudulent transfer or torts are involved, which means you cannot transfer a family court case when there's the transfer includes tort or fraud. And this is tort, and this is fraud, and this is a non-family member. So they want to violate that. Texas Civil Practice of Remedy 25.01, a fraudulent inducement where you can sue for fraud and property division. Texas Rules of Civil Procedure 12 requires the lawyers who enter to first file a notice of appearance. They didn't. I mean, a lot of law breaking going on here. They can't just recharacterize a fraud case as divorce property case. And that's what they're trying to do. So let's just say we go to appeal. My first question to the appeals court, who seems to like me now? I think I got familiar with them. They would ask, is this a family member? Was Victoria Warren a family member? Nope. Then why was this fraud claim recharacterized as a family member when she's not your family member? You got to ask Judge Williams about that. And seeing that we already have 2 cases on the home property here, why, and it's in from family court, why was this not, dealt with as a different kind of case, a civil case? And another question, and why, if Victoria Warner had 60 days to file a motion, she didn't, and now she's doing it, let's see how long, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. 10 months later, they made this motion when the law prohibits them after 60 days, you can't make it. To move property, to dissolve the case, to say, hey, you can't sue an attorney. You got 60 days. That's it. So why were we having this discussion today? I don't know. So let's see, there's that. And then they said one more thing. Let's see what they said. They said they want the case to go to foreclosure, right? My wife makes a six-figure salary. Yep, six-figure salary. So what if it was reversed? What if it was I was her and she was me, and I was dumping her for another woman? I'm taking my six-figure salary. I'm taking my $1.2 million, and I'm telling her, go live on the street. My lawyer, Victoria Warner, is going to sell this house. She's going to get paid. I'm going to have to touch a dime from my pocket, and you're on the street. And my ex is like, why? Why are you doing this to me? I gave up my life. I gave up my career for you to come here and be happy, and you want to put me in? I'm in jail. It was an order to put, let's say I had an order to put her in jail. Do you think Michael Snipes would have let me get away with this? He would have said, sir, you're making $150,000. You got $1.2 million in assets. You got the fancy Rover car. She's getting the junk car. You got all the three cats. You got to steal everything in the house one night when she was not there. And you want me to put her in prison. Is that what you want? You want me to put her in prison so you can take the last asset she has and sell it and put her on in prison while you walk away with all that money and a six-figure salary. You think I'd get away with that? You think Judge Staci Williams would have me violate her court order to have my ex arrested, and she's about to go to prison, and then she came to Judge Williams and says, he's trying to put me in prison and I have a case with you, with the property, with her lawyer, and Judge Staci Williams issued that order. Sir, Mr. Ballier, you're not allowed to arrest her, you and your lawyer. And I still did it. I still did it anyway. I got the order to put her in jail, take the property, sell it while she's in jail, and pay off my lawyers. And then she comes back to Judge Williams and said, this is what he did to me. This is what he did to me. I have barely have any money, barely have any food, and he's trying to put me on the street. No, this time in jail. Do you think Judge Staci Williams will let me get away with it, violating her court order while I'm rich, or I got all that money, and then pretending I got nothing? No. Do you think Gina Slaughter have my ex? I want to put her in jail, and I have all this money, got a high-powered attorney, 2 of them now, and I want to put her in jail, and I did nothing to her. I mean, she did nothing to me. She didn't cheat. She didn't lie. She didn't steal. She did nothing. I just want to be with another woman. Do you think they would let me get away with it? I don't think so. But she's getting away with it. She's getting away with it because she's cunning, she's clever, she's devious. That has been our marriage since. Bullying, can't talk to her. She gets into these rage and tantrums if I even say anything about her coming home at 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm a Christian. Do you imagine if I did that to her? Come home 2 o'clock in the morning, smelling like another woman, and she's waiting for me, texting me, at least tell me alive. And I said, I don't care, I'm with another woman. She gave up her life for me. And Judge Williams asked me about this house. I didn't want to tell her it was a godly thing. I didn't want to tell her that this is something I feel that God has given me. Of all the things I lost, this is the only thing I didn't lose. And losing $1.2 million just for $90,000 in my equity, that's it, just $90,000. And all I have is left is this house. And that's what I feel God gave me, this house. It's a divine gift. But I can't tell a judge that. She's not going to understand. You know, God is the one who gave me this house, the house that the Lord has built. This is it. And if God wanted to give it to her, she would have had it already. But he doesn't want to give it to her because he knows the evil that she has done. But if the roles were reversed and I did this to her, Judge Staci Williams would have gone and she would say, you know what? How about we do this, Mr. Baldio? You come in here with your fancy attorneys. You want to put this woman in jail and she's got nothing. You lied to her. You deceived her and getting her money to come here to help your career, and then you want to dump her. And now you're walking away with a 6-figure salary. Here's what we're going to do, Mr. Baldio. We're going to have you sign off the house in her name. Why? Because it's under my jurisdiction. I can do whatever I want. I'm going to have the lawyer sign it off or pay for it, which is what the application is, right? But since your attorneys from family court is appearing here on your behalf, I am going to rule that you're going to sign the house over to her. You're going to pay her $50,000 in salary because you came to my court. And I can do this. You're making an application, and I'm ruling on your application by denying you sticking her in a prison cell so you can get the house and run away with your woman or whoever you're with. So because you came to me, $5,000 in monthly Spousal support, right? She gets the house. You're going to make the $19,000 a month payment, right? And we are going to make sure that when my case is resolved, the house is finally hers. And your attorney here, who lied and deceived Victoria Warner and helped you defraud her, we're going to do the default judgment on her because she can't make any applications right now to dismiss. She had her 60 days. You had her 60 days. Now you're sending your attorneys in here to manipulate my courtroom, to mischaracterize this case. Your attorney is not a family member. I'm not going to send this back to family court. Go to Judge Slater and deal with that. That's what I would have done. Judge, if my spouse was sitting here crying out to this judge, this is what he did to me. Left me with nothing, and all I have left is a house. They don't let men get away with this stuff. Why are they letting an abusive woman who's deceitful, lying, cheating, get away with it? Why? Because she's got a lying attorney? Because she's a woman? So anyway, I didn't address that particularly, but I'm just telling you guys, this is what's happening in the courtroom. This is what they do to men. And some women. They do this to women too, but men do not get a fair shake. And this is why we file these criminal cases based on the crimes, based on the fraud. And they're trying to say, hey, Mr. Baldio and Miss Warner are family members. That's why you got to send it back to family court. We're not family members. Can't send this to family court. They're going to say, well, we already adjudicated. Yes, thank you for saying that. You already adjudicated this in family court and it's over there. It's done. It's resolved. I won. I won the house so far. And then this woman, this long woman goes, he's filing this, he's filing. No, I filed 2 different places, civil and bankruptcy. Those are my rights to protection. So now they're saying you have no due process. You have no due process to your house. You have no due process to go to bankruptcy court because we are telling you so. You have no due process before Judge Williams or Judge Slater to defend your rights and your property or protect yourself from fraud. You have no due process. The next point is they said I'm a serial litigator, right? Here's the thing. They took 2 cases from Hoffman and Aceves, right? They send it back to family court where I'm a defendant, okay? Vexatious claim does not go against defendants, right? They double it to label it a family court case. So now they got 4, right? They duplicated it. This is DC, this is DF. And the other 2 cases is the one we had today and the one before Slaughter. Not resolved. You don't know if there was vexation because it's still live. So now you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all pending cases. And Judge Snipes goes, yeah, vexatious litigation, I'm signing it. Vexatious litigation is you have to be a plaintiff, constantly filing in the courthouse, different cases all over the place, on different people. This is only 2 people, my ex and her attorney. Nobody else except Kathy Stewart, and that is still live. That is now back to trial. Like if this case screwed me, I'm going to appeal court, back to trial, because she had 60 days to do this nonsense and she didn't do it. That's number 1. Number 2, she's not a family member. Number 3, the case is already in default judgment. What's number 3? Number 3. Yes, and the case was sued for fraud, not a family, no family elements here. There was no family. It's a house that was defrauded by a non-family member. Okay? If it was defrauded by a non-family member, that's why we're in civil court. Does anybody understand that? And then there's an injunction. All these things, the appeals court is going to send us back. I know it because I'm getting to know those guys up there. So that was my fight today. Lying lawyers. I caught them lying. You saw the evidence. Evidence is first. Evidence is king, right? So if I was a judge, you know what the Supreme Court does when you lie to them once about anything? They say this. The fruit of the poison tree. The fruit of the poison tree is you lie to us once, everything else you say is a lie. if most likely somebody lied about, there was a car case, and they used that. Somebody lied about one thing on this car, the likelihood of them lying about everything fixing this car is all there. So they lied. You listen, if I was a judge and somebody lied to me and said, well, judge, they are getting 50,000, they are getting 20,000, and just told you they didn't. So anyway, the last thing is the judge says she couldn't find. So she had them in contempt. She had them not to commit contempt of her order. The bankruptcy stay said they couldn't go back retroactive and violate June 27th and say that I didn't leave, because all those things are stayed. They came back to that date while it was stayed, still stayed. And they used that date, and they came back and they said, I violated that date. And then Judge Williams doubled that and said, don't do it. Do not violate my court order. They didn't care about her. I don't know why they don't care about her, but she seemed to care about them. And they violated a court order, put me in jail, and God came into the picture. I gave him that, and the constable knew me. I make the rounds. Yes, I do. The constable knew me and says, we got an order from Judge Williams not to do this, and you did it. Okay, so now is Judge Williams going to sign my order holding them in contempt now, or are they going to get special treatment? Are they going to get privileged treatment? Or is justice going to be equal? I wasn't even in contempt, because they were told not to hold me in contempt. And they violated a real contempt. And the real contempt is saying, I don't see it here. I don't see a hearing. It's there. I think it was August 13th. It's there. And the order is there. So she didn't want to sign it today. So I'm going to make a motion specifically to have a hearing on this. Deny it so I can take it on appeal. And I will win on appeal. You know why I would win on appeal? Because they violated a court order, tried to put me in jail, and steal my property that I was defrauded of in family court with no negotiations on the law. That was the fraud. And she wants to send it back to continue the fraud in family court or some other judge, Plumley, right? Why would you do that when this is not a family member? Victoria Warner is not my family member. We can't be talking about family court. We have to be talking about what did she do to the property that violated your rights? What did Victoria Warner did? That's it. That she's not my family member. Let's just talking about family court. This case needs to be focused on me and Victoria Warner and her crimes. And she had 60 days, or was it 2 months, to respond, and she didn't. She can't file motions now. She can't have outside her buddy, colleague, attorneys in family court coming in to file it now, and then sit back and say, oh, I'm just I have no claim. I have nothing. Liar. But I'm the bad guy, right? Standing up for my rights, I'm the bad guy. Why? Because I'm a male, and I can't cry, and I can't make somebody feel sorry for me like my ex is doing. Meanwhile, she's the bully. She's the nasty one. But she gets to cry and get away with it. So that was my thing in court today. I'm sharing my personal feelings with you because it will help me fight for others. It will help me clear the way. All the mistakes that was done and all the bad dealings that was done against me to steal my property, to steal my money is a good experience and skills to know and to have. This is Serrano Keith Daldio. I may go down. Well, tomorrow morning I'm going to pick up I don't know if I'm going to appeal this judge. I don't think she's going. I think she's going to extend. Judge William and I, we have an understanding, and understanding is she's very firm. In a ways, I'm firm. I'm this. Don't tell me about the law. That's just the way she is. But at the end of the day, she's always done right by me. So let's just see if she'll do right again, and stop trying to take a case that is, I have no family relationship with Victoria Warner, this lawyer, and make it into a family court case. I don't care where it came from. It could have come out from the probate court. So what, let's send it back to the probate court? No, you were sued for fraud in the probate court, doing this stuff you shouldn't be doing, which is under different laws. And she wanted to know, lastly, Why didn't you combine the cases? Well, what's going to happen is that would have caused a confusion, because let's just say there was a question arise that I sued Victoria Warner for breach of fiduciary duty. So I put her on the witness stand because I would want a jury trial. I'm fed up of judges. Although I think this case already has gone to a judge himself. And it's a default, so there's no jury trial. So anyway, I sued her for fiduciary duties, violating. Then they're going to say, well, why did you sue your ex for fiduciary duties when she's not an attorney? Well, I added her to the case as another defendant. Well, don't you think that is kind of confusing? Because you're naming your ex and the attorney under fiduciary duty, under violation of due process, violating the malice when it comes to the legal system, fraud on the judicial system, right? But you added your ex-wife to this as well. And it confuses the situation. Because, no, she's not a lawyer, but I kind of had her as a defendant. But so then you have her doing all these things as well. She's not an attorney. And so I did that to the prosecutor's office, and they told me you have to sue the lawyer separately and filed a notice to the state boss separately because you're going to confuse yourself, and that's why I sued her separately. Now I can just deal with her and her fraud. What she did is different from what Warner did, because what Warner did was advise her, hey, don't give him the money. Hey, let's conceal it. Hey, sign this so we can hide it and not have him have an audit on it. All that advice came from the lawyer. The lawyer was the one who advised her to commit the acts. So she gets it differently. And that's why I sued the lawyer separately. My ex went along with it, but she doesn't have the kind of filings that I would sue a lawyer for, so I sued her as a civilian. And so when I question her, she's also in default, and I can't question her, because the minute that Judge Slater said I'm going to trial, that's the minute I take that ruling and that order to the appeals court on you. Want to run for office? Go ahead now. And I know your opponent. So just follow the law. I can't understand these judges that follow the law. Okay, if they violated this, nail him. Okay? Because if I did it, they want to nail me, and I don't even do it, and they come after me. So, but what I need is rulings. They said that Judge Slater denied my motion, so now I have to ask her to go and rule on my motion. Not just let it sit there. Give me a ruling on this motion with the property. And if she says deny, that's what you need to go to the appeals court. They keep it in limbo. And that's why the case that I had with, Kathy Stewart, was kept in limbo in the appeals court. And I'd have made a motion, dismiss it. Dismiss it because Purdy said she has jurisdiction. So she's got jurisdiction, dismiss it. And I put a whole bunch of criterias in the dismissal. So the reason I did that is because when it goes back to Purdy, I'm going to say they dismiss it with these things in mind. You have to take it to trial on the merits. So, but you need that ruling. So I'm going to push her for a ruling. Give me a final ruling that you denied this because they're saying you did. And then I can take her to the appeals court. But she might say, hey, you know what? You're right. She's in default here. The default judgment says you get the house. She had to respond in 60 days if she had a problem with this going back to bankruptcy court. To the family court. She did not respond I don't know if it's 60 days, not 60 days. It's either 60 days or 2 months. I can't remember which one is which. But let's just say it's 2 months. She had 2 months to, by the way, 60 days is 2 months. Right? Almost. 24 and 24 is 48. That's 2. What am I doing? What am I saying? 30 and 30 is 60, except for February, which is 28, and then it's short. Anyway, let's just say 60 days, right? She has 60 days. My ex had 60 days before Judge Gina Slater. Gina Slater says, well, I'm going to violate the 60 days, and I'm going to dismiss this, and I'm going to do that. Okay, well, let's go to appeal. They want to play. I'm not an ordinary pro se. I know my business. So, my next move is to go to Gina Slater, go get a couple of the appeal forms, keep it aside, because when you do something like this, you got to immediately file that appeal. And then I'm going to go back to bankruptcy court and get a clarification on some things they wrote. And then I'm going to go back to Judge Purdy. She's running for re-election, and make her do her job. But I think the missing link here is Judge Slater. Got to make her decisions now. I've been letting her. One of the things about Judge Gina Slater is that she's got 3 complaints against her where she was sitting on the cases for 6 months. Don't tell anybody. She sat on my case for 10 months. Right? So this is not normal for her. And those people had to file appeals. Those people had to file against her. So I know what I'm dealing with. Anyway, this is Serrano. This is what's happening in court today. If the roles were reversed, and I was the one with the 6-figure and all that money, Judge today Williams would have said, well, since you came into my court and you filed this motion, I'm going to respond to your motion. You're going to sign the house over to her. You're going to pay the $19,000 a month. You're going to pay her $5,000 a month in support. You know what they're going to say? Hey, that's an action for family court. Good. Because this is district court. So since family court cannot come here, I can't go there. Right? You see how you can catch them? Anyway, this is Serrano Keith Value. Thanks for watching. And I'll keep you updated on this case. Bye for now. Oh, before I say that, we are going after Judge Aceveras and Hoffman for transferring cases. That was illegal for them to transfer because it wasn't family court. It was tort, civil cases, where especially the one against the attorney, Victoria Warner, is not a family member. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.